Nice pickup, nice snag.
Hey guys, what's going on? I was just showing Jose here my latest pickup from Retro Rare Collectibles. And this is the Poe Dameron and BB-8 2-pack. This is relatively new. It only came out a few months ago. A little bit more expensive than your regular Art FX statue because it has a BB-8 as well as the main figure in it as well. I gotta be honest, I absolutely love collecting the Art FX statues. I don't collect that many of them. I have maybe 4 or 5 in my entire collection so far. What you'll notice immediately right off the bat with the FX statues is slightly larger than the Black Series and the Disney Elite Series, but about a quarter, maybe 20% larger maybe.
Yeah, something like that, but not noticeable, but not distinct enough to that. Yeah.
But the thing you will notice above all else about the Art FX statues is the detail.
Oh, the detail, yes, man. Looking at the hair here from the top, look at that.
The detail is absolutely phenomenal. Not just in the clothing and in the hardware, but
in the face.
Above all else, the face. If you look at the detail on this Poe Dameron statue, it looks exactly like Oscar Isaac, the actor that plays him in the movie. And that's what sets Art FX apart from the Black Series and the Elite Series, because of the attention to detail.
What about him? Look at the BB-8, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
He looks great.
Yeah, it looks great.
He's even got a bit of weathering on there as well.
Yeah, a little weathering, nice little touch, and look at those antennas. Very nicely detailed, but again, you have to be very careful. Like that's a break point right there, waiting to happen.
But of course, all that detail and all that attention
comes with a price.
Comes with a price. So, you know, a figure like this, whereas an Art FX or an Elite Series will cost you $20 to $30.
You know more than I do about this.
This is going to cost you about 5 times as much. These are between
5 times. Was this a C note? Was it $100?
Well, yeah. I think I got this off Sandy for about 110 or 120. But generally speaking, the single figures are between 80 and 100. The double figures like this are between 100 and 140, and that's why they're so expensive. But again, when you see the difference, it's obvious. It's well worth the money, because this is really, truly a piece of artwork, and I'm really proud of it.
Oh, nice snag.
Yeah. Anyways, we're not going to waste any more time here, because we got a lot of great books to show you tonight. So you brought some good stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, I got some con stuff that I haven't shown.
Cool, cool. So we're going to head over there. We're going to get set up, and yeah, we'll be right back.
Hoy, hoy. Okay, so for something a little different, this is our new book segment, but these are 2 new books that are not being featured, not by me. These are Paul and Mike's picks for the new book segment. I'm glad to see that you guys are showcasing some of your new snags. First off the bat here is Mike with an Amazing Spider-Man 795. There's some key heat to this book.
That's right. It is the first appearance of Red Goblin.
Yeah, Norman Osborn as the Red Goblin. Yeah, there's a lot of heat to this book. It's going for $20-25 online.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, it's fairly cool book, and it goes to show the benefits of being a regular kind of shopper for certain titles. That every once in a while, having a pull list will net you a little gem like this.
That's straight.
Yeah, and thanks. That's a nice score for basically paying a book for cover price. That's
just the Alex Ross cover alone is
Alex Ross is your favorite.
Well, he does the whole run. And, yeah.
It's a nice cover, very cool. So what's underneath there? Now for Paul's...
Let's take a look, shall we?
Well, I have this too, of course.
I have this too, of course.
I think we all bought it, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what? The man's on a terrific run. Of course, we're talking about the great Frank Cho. This is the Harley Quinn issue 38 B cover variant. And, well, what can you say?
I love the expression on her face.
I know, it's such a great Killer Croc. And, you know, obviously profiled, you know, like, I mean, he's been in the news. I mean, his first appearance is a nice snag for new appearance guys.
What I can't believe is that it's already, the new Harley Quinn series is already on number 38. To me, it seems like the new 52 series just ended yesterday.
Yeah, well, time flying. You know, another thing, or to end this segment on saying, is that one of our locals, of course, good old Uncle Sandy at Retro Rare, has recently come into possession of a collection that's got a lot of fantastic Frank Joe material. We're talking limited edition, like mini posters, art books, including artist proofs, hardcovers, limited stuff. A lot of good stuff that we're going to be going through in the next few weeks. He just picked it up last weekend, so we're going to be there.
And and another thing I think we should mention is most of these limited artist prints by Cho are all from the San Diego Comic-Con.
Extra bonus.
Yeah.
Bonus. Big
So,
time.
and some of the books with the artist proofs, all signed by him. Many of them have actually sketches on the front cover. So, I don't know, if you guys are in the area and you're and you really like Cho, it's worth coming to Retroware and checking out because it's a massive collection he just scored.
Yeah, he got several boxes of choice material. I've actually asked him to put a couple of things away for me.
And when you get them, we're gonna show them in a future episode.
Of course.
I like that Star Trek one, did I?
Oh yeah, the Star Trek one, and of course the other one, the one in the mirror, which is looking at her skimpy costume. I
Cool.
love those two.
Okay, so that's it for the news. Let's go on to the next. What else we got next here?
That's it. That's our new book segment. One from each of you guys. I'm glad that this is your first new book segment. I mean, I've monopolized it a bit, so I'm glad to see you guys showcasing some
Hey,
books.
listen, I got that new book. I got Painkiller Jane last episode. That was a relatively new book.
I
Yes,
showed
it
you
was.
one last episode as well.
Okay, so next up we got Jose with a really nice copy of Avengers 23. Wow, Jose.
123.
Sorry about that. 123.
Yeah. As usual, these are all comic books from the Toronto Comic Book Show. I usually start talking about with the bargain book. You know, a book, $25, $30, no more. And this is that example from the comic book show there. From May 1974, we're talking, this book has the origin of Mantis, who was recently featured, of course, in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
He was.
Yes, the character ranked 99th in the Comic Buyer's Guide to the 100 Sexiest Women in Comics list, and with strong ties to the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and the Vision. Mantis is certainly a character which has received popular culture exposure, due mainly to her exposure in the second movie. Now,
Yeah.
her first appearance, of course, is in Avengers issue 112, okay? And actually, we saw some footage. I saw that book. They had a couple $100 for a high-grade copy. So that book, cover dated from June of 1973, an early Bronze Age book, has already received a big surge in demand and price, but it's still relatively affordable in the mid-grades. Well, my thinking is, if there's value in her first appearance, logic dictates that her origin story must hold worth as well.
No, for sure.
This issue, Avengers 123, is that book, and near mint raw copies are pulling in right now about $40 to $50 US minimum. Yeah, Mantis and the Swordsman, first appearance Avengers issue number 19, cover dated August 1965, a book I featured in a previous episode, are the centerpieces of one of the best love sagas in Avengers history, the Celestial Madonna Saga. Yeah, that saga appeared in Avengers issues 129 to 135 and Giant Size Avengers issues 2, 3, and 4. To break it down, after a portent heralding the awakening of the Celestial Madonna appears, the Avengers vow to protect her against those who would possess her. Yeah, the likes of Kang the Conqueror, Rama-Tut, and Immortus. So, Swordsman, real name Jacques Duquesne, kind of a loser of a villain with low self-esteem, he reached his destiny and cosmic fruition as an intelligent space plant.
Cool.
While Mantis, whose background as a Vietnamese prostitute with a strange speech tic, ends up birthing a kind of space Christ. Who knew?
Who knew?
Opposites attract. Love, ain't it grand and mysterious? So, again, the point to make about this book, if you feel you're priced out of the first appearance and you don't want to pay that bloated price, sometimes getting spec books that have already popped, like it's kind of swimming in a river, which is, you got to cut on your body and there's piranhas around.
Yeah,
so you don't want to necessarily do that. So let's break it down. 47th Overstreet price splits for the 8, 9, and 9.2 grades are $19, $30, and $40 US for this book. It's a nice 8.0-ish copy, I would say. Something like that. At an 8, $35. I think I picked this up from the boys at Hagenland from West Hagen, and they had 35. I think I paid 30, which doing the current exchange, it's about 21, 22 bucks, so a couple of bucks above grade according to Overstreet. Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong on that one, Jose. And it's a nice looking book.
And it's a nice cover.
Beauty.
And it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg either.
No, it won't.
Thanks for bringing it in.
Mm-hmm. Whoa ho ho. This book is prima facie evidence number one that collectors, they come in all stripes. Of course, there's different types of collectors who are into specific things. And of course, one of those things is giant robots. Yeah, and the price tag says right there, Roger the Killer Robot. Beat that.
Beat that.
You can't beat that cover. That's a fun, funky cover. Love that cover.
Mm-hmm.
Love it, love it. That's why I bought it. I mean, as soon as I walked up to these guys, buy 3 get 1 free.
Oh wow! Well, you got that.
Right there, I showed my free one last week, the Aparo. This is one of the ones I couldn't deny it, man. It's early 60s, House of Secrets. They don't have very many of them.
And it was a Batcave pickup.
The Batcave
pickup all day long. Love it.
Yeah, you can't beat that Roger the Red Robot. It's kind of like for a month, it's got kind of this revolving kind of grinding mechanism. Then this poor dude, it's got in its claw, it's about to be chewed up like.
Yeah, it's like one of those ground scrapers.
Yeah.
Surface mining digger.
And then there's weird alien dude with kind of like pointed ears, or it's kind of like a metal head with a remote control device, kind of like playing with his giant robot. It's a fantastic cover. You know what? Sometimes a cover sells itself. Like, I mean, I think with a cover with that much eye appeal, you could have blank pages in it. For me, that cover sells itself.
Still worth picking up.
Oh, picking up it for 25 bucks Canadian.
Had to do it. I had to do it.
That's 20 bucks US. That's a great, again, $20 pickup.
And that was from the Toronto Comic Book Show.
Yes,
February.
From the cave.
Cool. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for bringing it in. Fantastic book.
Mm-hmm.
And next up, we got High End Jose, and he's got a really nice copy of Adventure into Fear number 19. Nice 20-cent cover you got there, Jose.
And my favorite age of collecting those 25-cent covers from Marvel. Yes, this is Adventure into Fear issue number 19, cover dated December 1973. And this book has the first appearance of Howard the Duck.
Wow.
Now, if you guys remember in an previous episode, I talked about his first comic book, number 1 issue to his self-titled series. This here, of course, is the first appearance of him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone's favorite anthropomorphic duck is, in my personal opinion, one of the strangest Marvel comic characters of all time, which explains why even George Lucas couldn't save his 80s solo movie. 30 years on, it was understandably surprising when Howard the Duck, voiced by Seth Green, popped up in Guardians of the Galaxy post-credit scene with Cosmo the Space Dog. Yeah, sure enough, Howard makes a brief cameo in Volume 2 as he tosses back a cold beverage on the home planet of the brightly colored Contraxians. So, is there genuinely a future for Howie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Well, in short, Marvel Studios head honcho Kevin Feige revealed that the fun thing about Howard is that he shows up where you least expect him, so who knows where he's going to appear next. Now, perhaps Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Spider-Man, and the Guardians will need a talking duck to help them take on Big Bad Thanos in Avengers Infinity War, dropping this summer. Ooh. Well, I think I've gone a little bit too far now.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so let's go back and rewind and go back in time here to 1978. Writer Steve Gerber and Marvel clashed over issues of creative control, leading to a removal of him from the series. Now, this led to a copyright infringement lawsuit against Marvel, alleging sole ownership of the character. This was one of the first highly publicized creators' rights cases in American comics. The lawsuit was settled on September 24th, 1982, with Gerber acknowledging that his work on the character was done as work for hire, and that Marvel parent Cadence Industries at the time owned all rights, titles, and interest Howard the Duck. Now, the judge approved the motion and dismissed the case. Around this time, of course, the Walt Disney Company threatened to sue Marvel for copyright infringement, claiming that Howard looked a little too similar to Donald Duck and enforced a different design, including, gasp, the use of pants. Of course, having said all that, that's all ancient history now. That now that the House of the Mounds owns Marvel and Howard.
Oh, yeah.
All
Yeah.
settled up.
So I'm all ducked out. I mean, I got his first #1 to his self-titled series, and now I have his first appearance. I
Yeah,
have no
yeah.
more need to put any more duck-related stuff into my cupboard.
Such an iconic character like Howard the Duck. So many people collect it.
Yeah.
Way to go.
I've got some old, I've got some new.
Yeah,
I've got some
well,
spattered around. some
I got
really
what
cool
I
covers.
need. And
Yeah, that's for
Yes.
sure.
you can't always get what you want as long as you get what you need.
Yeah,
And I got
yeah.
what I need. So
Yeah.
let's finish this by saying that the 47th Overstreet price splits for the 8, 9, and 9.2 grades are $59, $117, and $175 US. I paid $80 Canadian, which breaks down to about $60 US, and I would judge this to be at least about a VF Plus copy, 8.5.
I'd say that's
Nice.
fair
So
assessment.
I paired right on grade comparison as far as currency. Let's pick up.
First appearance, key
Yeah.
book, can't go wrong.
I saw it for a lot higher. I saw some dealers having it for a couple $100 now, maybe in a higher 9.2 grade, but I'm not willing to go that far for the
Yeah.
Duck Man.
They had it for sale. It doesn't mean they sold it for that
No,
price.
I'm sure they didn't.
Great book, Jose. Thanks for bringing it in.
Okay, so reaching way back into the depths of his stash, Mike has pulled out an early detective. In fact, his second oldest detective. Nice cover.
Absolutely. This is the guy who was just slapping him down. This is why I just
Ah,
went crazy.
The old
Vision.
table trick.
I apologize to anyone who was said, "Hey, Silver Age dude," and I did not look up because I had tunnel vision the entire show.
It's interesting. I got recognized
did.
too. Yeah.
I
They asked
did.
you, are you the...
Well, I didn't even look up. I'm so sorry if I offended anyone, but when you're dropping books like this is my second oldest detective comics, as we said, June '67. Now, when you're dropping that on the table, I know it's only probably about a 6.65, but for $20, it's pretty damn
Oh,
nice
for
looking.
sure. For
I
20
jumped
bucks
all
for
over
that,
it.
yeah.
You know,
You know, for Silver Age 12 cent stuff, when we're talking Detective Batman specifically, you know what? The investment grade, what people consider the optimum grade to invest in as far as, you know, cost benefit kind of thing, has dropped. You know what? The new 8 is now a 6. So if you
Yeah.
can get detectives and bats of that age for around a reasonable price, according to grade, at least from the Overstreet, I like going Overstreet, you're doing quite fine because I've seen very much bloated pricing. People are calling on the fact that unless you're willing to go VG or less, I mean, there is a premium built in around the 6.0 grade now, where it used to be only around 8. Now people are settling. They're seeing the prices on 8s and they're saying, I can't pay that for one book.
Well, I'd like to interject here because we had the same conversation with Phil from when Planet Hobby a few years ago. And when he's at the comic conventions, he's always looking for the Spider-Mans and the Batmans and the detectives in the mid-grades. Why? Because he can pick them up at a cheap price and he can flip them up.
Flip 'em
They can flip them
fast.
really fast because most of the guys out there, collectors like you said, are guys like me and you who have a middle class income and can't afford the high-end books.
Yeah.
So flipping the mid-grade books becomes
Fast-
relatively
fast sell,
easy.
fast
Yeah,
sell. And that's exactly why I just jumped on this. I mean, it is good enough. The cover appeal is right there in front of you. You know, it's about a 6.5. I graded it carefully. Right now, the realm is saying at a 6.5 that is a $60 US book for $20 Canadian, 15 US bucks.
yeah.
No brainer. I had to jump on that. All day long, I was at that table.
Hey,
Again, that was the Toronto Comic Book Show from a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy's going to be there a few more times until all of his wares
Yeah.
are gone. He closed the store down and he's just dropping these books. He
Yeah.
pulls stuff out of a box and drops them on
You got
the
to find out
table.
what his name is so we can mention him by name.
I'd love to because, and I've seen trade stuff as well with other dealers.
Yeah.
very, very cool snag. You cannot beat that price for that kind of quality book. It's a very cool pickup.
All right, for our last segment of the evening, I'm introducing these because last episode I showed you a second appearance. This whole segment is about second appearances. Jose, hi-end Jose, please take it away.
Yeah, so we'll start out with the Wolfman. Yeah, Werewolf by Night, issue number 33, cover dated September 1975. Of course, holds the second appearance of Moon Knight. Yeah, the character of Moon Knight debuted in Werewolf by Night, issue number 32 from August of 75. Written by Doug Moench with art by Don Perlin as a villain that is hired by the mysterious committee to capture the title character for them in a two-part story continuing in this issue right here. He eventually has a change of heart and he helps Wolfie escape, briefly fighting alongside him. Now, for those who may not know Moon Knight, he's a street-level vigilante in the Marvel Universe. His real name is Mark Spector, and he was granted certain powers by the Egyptian god Khonshu in exchange for his service. Yeah, Spector would eventually go insane, developing multiple personalities and a tenuous grasp on reality to the point where he's not sure if Khonshu is real or if he's always been insane. Actually, it's a bit of both. Yeah, he's kind of like Batman if he had a multiple personality disorder. Yeah. Moon Knight has been long rumored to be in line for both a movie and a Marvel Netflix show.
Yeah.
Director James Gunn expressed an interest in making a Moon Knight movie, but he's got a full plate on with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume Number 3. Now, it's also unlikely that a Netflix show is coming until Disney works out what it wants to do about streaming after its purchase of 20th Century Fox from Rupert Murdoch and its shares in Hulu. Jake Gyllenhaal has been rumored as an interesting choice for the part, but if certain rumors are true, he's up for more high-profile Cape Crusader. Now, who knows what's happening with Moon Knight, but it's clear to me at least that fans are ready to see him up on the big or on the small screen.
Yeah.
Now, I feel about this being a somewhat conservative key hunter that, again, it's like going swimming with sharks. If you've got a cut on your body, you do not want to get caught in the spec bubble that is the chase in the first appearance, the issue before this, number 32.
Yeah.
I think everyone's chasing that super high grade 9.8,
Yes.
which there is, as of this filming anyway, not a single 9.8 in the census. So you can be sure that there's a bit of a gold rush mentality to try to find that really, really high grade to get a stupid price, which you probably would, considering it'd be the only 9.8.
Yeah.
I'm willing to only bet a little bit on something like this. So for $50, and thanks very much, this was for Big B Walter from the Big B store in Hamilton. Yeah, Big Walt is...
Big B.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Big B. First time at a local pop-up show like this, at least at the Toronto Comic Book Show, or so he said anyway. So let's finish with this book. The 47th Overstreet price splits for the 6, 8, 9, and 9.2 grades are 27, 59, 117, and 175 US. Now, I sometimes think that you have to state the obvious. I remember in the 47th Overstreet price guide now, it's going to be almost a year old, and it's printed from pricings from the previous year. So the material now is 2 years old. Now, $27 for a mid-grade copy, and this is what it is about. It's something above a 6, maybe a 6.5, something like that. It's got a few spine ticks and things of that. It's fair enough. You know what? $27 seems a little mean US. I picked it up for 50 Canadian, and I didn't even bother because I thought it was a very fair price.
Nothing wrong with that.
Again, I'm happy to have this book now. I have obviously the #1 book from the self-titled series from back in the day. It's got a nice purple cover on it.
Yeah.
And the third Moon Knight that I have in my private stash is Marvel Spotlight number 28, his first solo.
Cool.
Yeah, those are the books that I have, and I'm happy with those. I don't know if I'll ever have a first appearance, but we'll have to see what happens. Best thing to do about that is wait till the heat goes down or things, calmer minds come to grips as far as the pricing.
With our X-Men.
Yes.
Okay, what do you got underneath there? You got
And
one
so
more.
the second book, and this is our last book then of the segment. This is some Silver Age magic for me.
Wow.
This is Tales of Suspense, issue number 53. From May 1964. Of course, second appearances. This could be none other than a second appearance of the Black Widow.
Wow.
Yeah. It's got a second added bonus. This also has the origin of the Watcher.
Cool.
Yeah. I wish I had ponied up and bought a high-grade copy of this book I saw a couple of years ago. Yeah, it was a CGC 8.5 copy at Paradise Comics. That's where I saw it. It's a store in uptown Toronto on Eglinton. They had $450 on it, which
$450
is Canadian. Now, which is a high price, but at an 8.5, you're probably just sneaking into the top 10% of the graded copies for that kind of a book for a second appearance. I thought it's a third more of what my high limit at 300 is, so I couldn't pull the trigger. So I always kind of regretted it. Now, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I'm going to keep beating the drum about snacking on second appearances as a very good viable option for the cost-conscious comic book collector.
Second appearance city.
Yes, The Black Widow was an almost instant hit back then and has a total of 5 appearances in the Tales of Suspense title before moving on to bigger and better things. Marvel did get it right when they cast the Black Widow as a dynamite-looking Russian spy, and it's done nothing to the brand for the character, having been lovely played by this lovely Scarlett Johansson and done a good bang-up job as far as putting that brand name front and center, to the point where, like I said, there have been rumors of a solo movie for the character.
Nice.
Yeah. In this issue, the Black Widow strikes again, and she is trying to get back in with her commie boss's good graces after her failure in the previous issue, her debut. Now, she opts for stealing a new top-secret anti-gravity gun that Tony Stark has just invented. She contacts Tony and works the damsel in distress angle in him to perfection and steals his very powerful but unstable weapon. Iron Man, of course, gets in on the case and finds a way to get it both back, but the sly Black Widow escapes once again. Now, as an added bonus, I mentioned it, the origin of the Watcher is also included in the backup story, The Way It Began. The Watcher comes in from a super advanced race that decides to share its technology with others, but when their first attempt ends in tragedy, they vow never to interfere with the affairs of less advanced species, thus calling themselves the Watchers. Yeah, sometimes one of the most satisfying snags are the ones where you rectify a previous missed opportunity to add to your private stash. This is example number one of that. Sure, it's not as high grade as that copy, but I am very happy with a nice 665 mid-grade copy at the low price of $100. I got $25 off of this big bag boy from a dealer, like you said, in the hallway. He had two copies.
Wow.
I thought they were both fairly priced, although I thought the lesser copy, which did not even look to be a VG copy, priced at $75, was asking maybe a little bit much.
Yeah.
But this one priced at $125 Canadian, I thought wasn't bad. But you know what? I dickered the hard way. I put at 100 or nothing and walk away. And as I was walking away, he relented and I gave him a $100 bill.
That's how you do it. That's
how you do it sometimes. You play the hard game. I'm not willing to spend 101, not 105, $100.
And this was a Toronto Comic Book show
from a Hall dealer. Yes, so
deals all over.
Yes, deals all over on that show. Great show. I must admit that, like I said, the best booth there was probably Comic Book Addiction, but they brought some really good stuff. I wish I had more money. Anyway, so let's end it by saying that the 47th Overstreet price splits for the 6, 8, 9, and 9.2 grades are 105, 252, 564, and 875 US.
Cool.
So as you can see, $105 US is roughly about 125, 130 Canadian. He had it priced very fairly, right on, you could almost say. $25 discount, I don't mind that.
Great snag.
Fantastic. Now, wow, those are some amazing books you brought tonight, guys. And I can't think of a better way to end it than on, that's one of the earlier Tales of Suspense I think we've shown in this show.
I showed the one with the first Sharon Carter, but I think that's in the 60s or something like that, or in the 70s. I can't remember now. My memory is so selective as I get older.
And I'm so happy to have her costume changed.
Okay, so anyways, what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave it there because yeah, I think I don't think we can show anything better than that tonight. And the next episode that we're gonna be coming to you with is going to be from the Toronto Comic Con.
Toronto Con coming up, what is it, 2 weeks?
It's coming up in about a week.
Oh, is it a week now?
Well, by the time I get this uploaded, it's going to be about a week right now.
Oh, yeah.
But so, is mostly are aware the Toronto Comic Con is put on by the same people that put on the Fan Expo. And it is the second largest event of the year. Where the Fan Expo draws between 120,000 people, this one should draw between 60 and 80,000 people. Instead of it being a 4-day event, it's a 3-day event, but one of the most spectacular shows that we have here in Canada. And we're super excited about picking up some great books. I'm going to have a lot of live footage to show you. And yeah, super stoked because it's coming up very soon.
Of course. Super fan that you are, you'll be there all 3 days. Me, I looked into it a little bit. I was considering going for the Friday, but the Friday times are only 4 till 9, so I didn't want to lose a day's pay and also pay $20 for going there for, 3-4 hours. Yeah, so I will be there all day or most of the day on Saturday.
On Saturday. And Mike,
Saturday, you? Yeah, because of work obligations, I can only go to Saturday.
Hey, listen, if you get down there Saturday early, 1 day is enough.
Oh, yeah, definitely for this collector. Yeah.
Between Hagenland and Big B, and if BMV is there as well, man, it's worth going. Just right there alone.
Looking forward to it.
and I'm hoping to pick up maybe a vintage movie poster. It's not all about comics. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
all about...
That's right.
So anyway, guys, we will see you after the Toronto Comic Con, and if you like what you saw tonight, leave a comment, and we will see you next time.
Hoy hoy, happy collecting.
Special guest Mike. Yes, yes.
The Death Star plans are not in the main computer.